Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to cover the Khan Academy course Computer Programming Unit Intro to HTML and CSS. And I think we're covering the lessons Intro to HTML and more HTML tags. So then let's get started. Here we have an HTML document. Maybe let's get started with the structure of the HTML document. First line, doc type declaration. This is used to tell any application who is using this document what type, what's the type of the document. In this case, it's the HTML5 doc type. So if we write doc type HTML, we can say that this document is an HTML5 document. Then there are those three HTML tags which are available in nearly any HTML document. We got everything wrapped inside HTML. Then we got the head section and the body section. The head section are roughly said things which the user doesn't see, but to tell applications, for example, browser, how to interpret this document, or to attach more meter information to this document. For example, title tag, or some meta tags are important, like meta tag description are important to to tell applications what's the content about, and also for search engines to find this website and to present it to the user. Then we got the body section. There, sorry. There we got really roughly said things which the user sees if he visits the site. The browser takes the content of the body and presents it for the user in a certain way. Some important HTML tags which we cover today are headings. We got the HTML tag h1 to h6, I think. Those are used for headings to tell the browser that this text here should be the first heading of this document. The second heading, I think, is the third heading. Yeah. Those which are this section here, which I opened in Google Chrome, are the web developer tools. You can access it with right click on any content and inspect, or also hitting F12 on your keyboard. This is really useful to inspect what the browser rendered. So you got here your HTML document which you provide for the browser, and here you got your HTML in the way the browser rendered. Yeah, headings. It's also important to use headings really for headings, or it's really important to use HTML tags only for the purpose which they got created. So I mean with that, don't use the h1 tag just for styling purposes. This should be used for heading only, not for styling some text in a way the heading one looks like. Why is this important? Because there are also other applications like screen reader, for example, for for people who rely on screen readers to access the web. They you are making them a really hard time if you misuse HTML text for styling only, for styling purposes only, because the screen reader interprets a page in a certain way, and if you don't use the tags correctly, how they're how it's intended to use them, the purpose. Let's say the purpose. I'm sorry, it's a little bit early in the morning or earlier than usual. Um, if you don't use it with the correct purpose, which they should be used, then the screen reader could interpret the page in a really strange way, and the user on the other side has also a really hard time to understand what's the content of the HTML. Why is there a heading in the middle of a paragraph or something like that? So use the HTML tags in the way they should be used. How can you know, or how can you find out how they should be used? You can visit the Mozilla developer documentation. There you have a references list of elements, of HTML elements, HTML tags, and there's always a description how to use those HTML tags. So you really got a list of of HTML tags also with their intended usage. Yeah. So yeah, we covered doc type, HTML head body, a little bit about head, roughly said, mostly about you, mostly for browsers, really roughly. Meta tags for search engines, but also for other purposes. Call the title. Other HTML tags, headings. Yeah, there are also, of course, lists. There is the unordered lists with which gets rendered with the use of bullet points. I think they're called bullet points, those little points. Of course, you can use a list in this way to make also sublists inside of lists. On the other hand, there are ordered lists, which gives you an enumeration. You can also mix those two, of course. There are paragraphs, which are used to declare text, which there are paragraphs of text. And again, if you use those HTML tags, browser also renders those text elements in a specific way. Here you see the paragraphs, there is a space between, which the browser automatically inserts because you wrap this text inside a p tag. In comparison, if you have just text with a break, does a line break, then there is no space between, because it's not, the text here isn't inside a paragraph. Yeah, you need those breaks to declare a line break, otherwise the browser just ignores breaks made here in your HTML document. Yeah, also those styling also are those default stylings are also applied on this content which is inside the text. Or if you have a text with a break inside a paragraph, of course, there's also no space between them. The space gets only rendered above and below the paragraph block itself. Yeah, we also got tables. Tables also got two main sections, like the HTML document. We got the HTML head, the HTML body. Here we got the table head with a row, and inside heading, let's say, is a list of ingredients. So we got the table head, the table body. We also got a row with some data. Table TD is for table, sorry, table data. We got, need cinnamon sticks, cinnamon sticks, 2 to 3, and of course also some pepper, 4 to 6, crushed, of course. Yeah, got our table, and here again it's important not to use table for styling. Table got only one purpose: represent data in a certain way. Here with tables, just to represent data and not for styling purposes or something like that. Use CSS for styling. Yeah, we also got images, of course. We got images. We can use the image tag to embed images in this document. Here we can use attributes. Source, for example, is a part of the image. It's an attribute for the tag image. This just tells the application is going to run the page where to find the image. We can say it's on the local file system, for example, but we can also say this image is somewhere in web. Let's get a nice baby mango plant. So, oh my gosh, it's really slow today. Do do do. We should visit this. Amazon selling baby mangoes. Okay, so we can use a link to an image which also is available on the internet on a certain address to embed it that way. Like you can see, this embeds the image in its original size. So this image of this baby mango plant is really big. So let's scale it down. There's another attribute, width, for example. You can specify the width and for the height, the browser automatically calculates the height to keep the proportion. Of course, you can also say, okay, no, I also want to specify the height, but yeah, you should probably also use values to keep the proportion, because otherwise you just look really ugly. Another attribute is the alt attribute. This tells the browser to show this text if the image is available. So we will make the image not available. Mank.jpg doesn't exist on this file system, so yeah, browser just shows an icon and displays the text specified here. This is also important for screen readers, for example, because screen readers, they just read you the content of the page or try to interpret the content and try to present it with audio, and they use the alt tag to describe which image, what's the image about. Yeah, images. Those attributes are, of course, all described at the or not attributes alt at the Mozilla developer reference. You can look up all attributes from all HTML tags. So nice. We got images. Yeah, we can also, of course, create links. There is also an attribute like source for image, but for the link, for the anchor element, anchor tag, it's called href. So with href, you can specify also a local address, like you wanna make a link for the diary. If some user clicks on this text, then the link says, hey, browser, navigate me to the diary.html. So we got our diary here, of course, because as before, if you don't use breaks, browser won't break those elements. You also have to tell him to make a line break. There also is also a difference between those elements. There are block elements like paragraph, for example. Paragraph is a block element. So if you continue with text here, it automatically adds a line break because paragraph, for example, is a block element. Image, link are inline elements. So if you add text after the anchor tag, there's no automatic line break. Just to keep in mind. You can also read this on the web developer. Mozilla Web Developer documentation. Yeah, so if you use this diary link, navigate to the diary file. Of course, you can use it again to specify address on the internet, like to navigate to baby mango tree on Amazon. And yeah, one nice attribute here is the target attribute. Here you can specify how to navigate the user. Self is the default value, so this says like we saw it before. If we click on this diary, our window is going to be replaced with the content. If we say target is blank, we send browser, hey, navigate me to this baby mango tree, but use blank page, a new page, either a new window or a new tab. Yeah, nice. Another way to use links is for internal navigation. Let's say we have a link and we want to navigate to HTML entities. We can say let's HTML entities. This and let's say HTML entities. This HTML tag got an ID. HTML entities, and here we can make use of that ID. We can say, hey, if someone clicks this link, let's find an hashtag HTML entities. This hashtag stands for search for an ID, so hashtag equals ID with the value HTML entities. ID with the value HTML entities in this document. So if you refresh here, we have our link. We click in here, we get browser scrolls down until we reach the desired element with the specified ID, HTML entity. Yeah, that were the basic HTML tags, which are also at the Khan Academy course. Web develop tools, yeah, we use the web dev tools. It's really nice. For example, also if you have some issues, the HTML doesn't render in the way you want to, you can use the elements tab of the web dev tools tools to inspect what did the browser do, how did the browser render your HTML. And then you can dig into solve those problems, for example. Um, don't misuse HTML tags for styling. Yes, please don't misuse them for styling. Use CSS for styling. Just use as HTML tags for purpose they should be used. WCAG, web content accessibility. Yeah, web content accessibility, in my opinion, is also and should be considered. Of course, is an important part of every project, because if you stick to those guidelines, and the basic guidelines aren't that hard to implement, really not, and they lead to a better accessibility for more people, and they also lead to better structure and better readability also. So spend a weekend with those guidelines, try to keep them in mind, the important ones, and you and your HTML and people who are using your sites you create will benefit. HTML entities, yeah, of course. There are also sometimes, for example, you want to show the user that use P for paragraphs. Yeah, graphs. Yeah, of course, the P gets interpreted by the browser, and the browser automatically, because the browser tries to interpret also broken HTML in a way to represent it to the user. The browser interprets this p tag. This p tag is there anymore, and your page also doesn't look like you wanted to present it for the user. So there are HTML entities or character entities, and each of them begins with an ampersand, then an letter code, mostly, for example. If you want to say angle bracket, this first angle bracket is lower, LT for lower than, then P, then an ampersand, and GT for greater than, greater than, for greater than. Yeah, now the browser knows what to do, and here's your P tag. It knows how to interpret it. Again, those HTML entities, character references are on Mozilla Developer, Mozilla Web Dev documentation, and if you use Visual Studio Code, for example, you also get auto completion in that way. Yeah, nice. I think that was everything have to we had to cover for the Khan Academic course. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Ciao.